What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Something's Gotta Give. It's your girl, Mary B, and I'm doing a first today. I have a guest with me. It is a goal of mine to open up my podcast to other people to be able to tell their stories, their upbringings, and what happened that made them become the person that they are today. So I have my coworker, my new friend Rose with me. Rose, say hi.
Hi guys, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, Rose and I have connected. There's some type of energy here. And I told her about my podcast on maybe a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because I think I overheard you talking to somebody. And I was like, maybe she could be the type of person I'm searching for, my audience, because again, we know what this podcast is about. It's about me healing my inner child. And for me, it's really comforting when I hear other people be vulnerable and tell their stories. And so I think I just told you, hey, I have a podcast, you should check it out. And you misinterpreted me a little bit. You were like, oh no, I want to come on and be an interviewer.
Yeah.
I mean, be interviewed.
Yes.
And I was scared at first. You know, sometimes when we know we're supposed to do something, we feel resistance at first.
Apprehensive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that, but am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Is it going to work out? But you never know until you start. And one day at work, she had said to me very quickly how you grew up fast. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what a great conversation to have. And I didn't want to have it with you at work. I was like, this is basically someone pushing me along my journey. I hope this is as beneficial for you as it is for me, because like I said, I want to grow and make this a part of my platform. And having to grow up fast obviously came from a tumultuous childhood. Mm-hmm. So today we're just going to learn a little bit about Rose. Yeah, so at work, when you told me you had to grow up fast, right? You said it because you know that I'm sober. Mm-hmm. Explain why you said that in the first place.
So, you expressed that you were sober, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to begin my path of being sober because I'm kind of just over it. And at a young age, I experienced like a lot of adult things, which my family were always like people who smoked and they drink and stuff. And I was a dancer from like 18 to 21.
Okay, so that's about 4 years,
yeah,
right?
For like 4, maybe like 22, so 4 or 5 years. I was dancing, I was in that scene, I was just around people who were doing all types of stuff. So like now that I'm like out of it, I'm just like, okay, it's just time to grow up in a different way. Like, I don't think drugs and alcohol is a part of being an adult. Like, there's other ways to being grown. So that's really why I mentioned it, because I'm like, I've been around this for too long. Like, this has been a part of my life since I was a kid. I'm ready to retire it. My mom, she had me at like 16. So a lot of the things that you would think to hide away from kids, she was like comfortable doing it in front of me and stuff. So
where y'all come from?
I was born in Oakland. My family's from Oakland.
I thought for whatever reason you was from the South.
So I was born in Oakland. We moved to Houston when I was 2. So I grew up in Houston. From what I hear, my grandmother's mom is from Rocheron, Texas. And then she moved to Oakland and had all her babies. That's where my grandmother and her siblings come from. And then it went back to Houston for me. So
okay.
That's how it went. Girl, I think Oakland is chaotic. All the family members I do have that are from Oakland and they grew up in Oakland, they are so different. They are so different. Like, Did
your mom feel like she had to leave Oakland?
Yes. So she didn't want me to grow up out there. She said it was really rough for her. She didn't want me to experience that. Unfortunately, she didn't tell my dad that she was going to leave. And what happened was my grandmother had a really nice job in Oakland. Okay. And they were moving to Houston, and they offered her the same pay if she came with the company. So she took it, and my mom was like, I'm going. And they drove 2 days to get to Texas.
Your mom and?
My grandmother and my aunt. So it was us 4. So it was me, my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt. And my aunt is my mom's older sister. We drove, took 2 days, and then we ended up in Alief, Houston.
You were 2 years old during this road trip. Can you recall any of that, or is it just by storytelling from...
This is just storytelling. I can't remember, like, the early days when we were there. Like, I remember the exact company that my grandma worked for. Before I left Houston, we would drive by that parking lot, and I would look at that building. I'm like, that used to be my grandma's job, like, when I was little.
Okay.
And I remember the truck. I don't remember what kind of truck it was, but it was this big-ass red truck. Like, it was red and black. That's all I remember. But everything else is, like, through storytelling.
Okay.
And from different point of views. Like, I got all of their version of the story. My dad, my mom's, grandma.
Okay.
So, I just made it into one from, like, their perspectives.
So, does your mom ever share her experiences about having you at 16 years old? All the time. So much towards where she kind of weaponized it.
Okay. In which, like, I don't fault her for it. I know it was pretty hard. Like, 16, you have a kid. She was having her own issues with her mom, and now she's a mom, still trying to be a kid to her mom. I know it was a lot. She went through a lot, especially, like, because she was still trying to find love with her own mom. So it was, like, up and down for her. Like, she did a good job trying to nurture, and she did teach me a lot of empathy and intelligence as far as that. Like, I was always a little more mature than the crowd that I was with, or people my age, but I also had to, like, be concerned for her and her emotions more than my own.
What I'm hearing now, even with a few minutes in this conversation, you are speaking about everyone else but yourself. Which is fine. We haven't gotten to yourself yet, but I can tell already you're very protective of your mother. So what is your relationship from beginning to present with your mother?
When I was a kid, like, we were really, really close. Like, that was my girl. We was always super close. We used to go to the park, color together, like, sing music. It was always a thing. My eyes are watery, sorry.
It's okay. It's going to happen.
Somewhere in the middle, like, as I got older, she had my sister when I was 8. There became a disconnect because I started noticing that not only was my mom chasing after her mom, she was very promiscuous. She was always trying to find love in a man. And
so how was that promiscuity portrayed in front of you?
I would just meet her boyfriends all the time. Every time there was a guy, I would meet him. I don't think, whether I knew they were, like, together or not, it was like every man that walked through the door, I seen them. Like, there was no trying to hide it. But that was, like, it was like that with everyone in my household, because even my aunt, she was lesbian. I met all her girlfriends. My grandmother, oh girl, this is messy. She was sleeping with a married man, like, for years. Okay. And she expressed that it's because she gets to still have her own peace, and he has to tend to her.
So she made reason with the chaos that she was calling into her own life.
So, like, I seen it a lot. I met every one of her men, and it really, I didn't know it at the time, but as I got a little older, it kind of started being disappointing because I wanted her to stand up for herself and know that she didn't need a man, and she didn't need acceptance from her mom either, because, again, she was chasing, like, both things. So as I got older, we kind of started disconnecting and having a lot of issues with our communication. It's kind of like she left me at a certain age. Like, once I grew past, like, 7, who I was as a person and who I was growing into, it didn't matter. She used to like to amplify a lot of the wrongdoings that I did, but when I did something good, it was like crickets. Like, the whole house did that, but mainly my mom. Like, she would tell my family my good things, but it wouldn't be as loud as when I made a mistake or something. So that kind of also made me, like, separate from her. When I turned 22, that's when she was with her boyfriend, and we got into an argument in the car. And, like, she went in the house and started telling him what happened, and she was lying. Like, she was being extra about it. My grandmother used to do the same thing. Like, she would just amplify the situation, add her own little, she did this and da-da-da. And I was like, no, like, you're not going to do that to me, and you don't even like when your own mom does that. So I left. And
you left the house after hearing her tell her side of the story.
Yes, and I went in her room and I was like, don't do that. Like, you're lying. Like, if you're going to do, it's okay to express how you feel, but do not try to paint me as this bad guy and add your extra spin to it. Like, this is not that. So I left. I ended up getting my own apartment. From there, it wasn't really too much because I had my own space. I just wasn't really comfortable with like trying to get close to my mom because every time I felt myself trying to get close, she would use something that I expressed to her against me instead of just nurturing it like my mom should do. At the moment, we do not speak. I haven't spoken to her in a year.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 25,
Mm-hmm.
so you haven't spoken to your mom since you were 24.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been in LA for how long?
A year.
So since you've moved from Houston to LA, you've gone no contact with your mother.
So it was maybe a month after. It was in April. No, 2 months. May. Top of May.
Tell me a little bit about that story.
I went to the hospital. Okay, so let me rewind. On my birthday, I had a situation where my body was used, and it was...
You were sexually assaulted?
Yes.
Before you came to LA?
No, when I was here, I was drunk on my birthday, like trying to have a good time. I was going through a lot.
Were you blackout?
Yeah, but we were at someone's house, so I thought it was a safe space for me to get, that intoxicated.
You gonna get fucked up if you gonna get fucked up, so...
Right. So, that ended up happening, and I never went to the doctor about it, and, like, a few weeks later is when I started feeling really, really, really sick. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I ended up having to go to the hospital because I had pain, and I had 2 cysts on both sides of my ovaries, and they kept asking me if
That's
it was...
new?
Yeah, that's what they told me it ended up being. So they kept trying to figure it out, like, was I having sex? Because the last time that sex technically happened was the night of my birthday, but I didn't say anything about it. So I'm in the hospital. I had a terrible fever. I couldn't eat. And I'm just talking to my mom about it. And every time she asked me about if I could eat or not, she caught an attitude with me. And the last time she caught an attitude with me, she was like, "You're being so fucking difficult. Like, just eat the food." And it really just blew me because I'm like, girl, I'm in the hospital by myself. I was just getting abused for 2 years by my ex. I don't know, and it was... When I was little, I had to go to the hospital with my mom a lot. I actually went to school from the hospital because she had, stomach issues and stuff. So I'm like, it just took me aback that this is the first time I've ever been this sick. First time in the hospital for 2 weeks straight, alone, no family, and you're getting mad at me because my fever won't allow me to hold a meal in. And that was just it was just my last straw. There's more details to why I stopped talking to her, but that was just the peak of it. I'm like, you know what? I can't even get peace from you when I'm in the hospital bed. That is crazy. So I just stopped talking to her. And then right when I decided to stop talking to her, my aunt sent me a meme on Instagram saying that I was standing in my own way. So I don't talk to no one. I don't talk to my grandmother and my aunt. I try to talk to my little sister, but she thinks I'm trying to get her to choose sides instead of just understanding my side of things. She only knows their side of things. So it's kind of weird with her, but I'm trying because I'm her older sister. And I know if I don't make the effort to build a relationship with her, it's not really going to be one because she's a kid with my family. So, yeah, for the most part.
Through hearing this, you've been through a lot. As someone who has also went through a lot, I have mastered the storytelling and detaching myself from the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes people can be amazed. How can you just sit here and tell that without crying?
Right.
I'm trying to bring your inner child forward because she deserves to be seen. And your inner child was the one who experienced this, which is why adult Rose can tell this story so perfectly. Well, I've met adult Rose. I work with her. I want to meet inner child Rose. So let's start where that breaking point happened, which I think was when your sister was born. Now, again, it's going to be normal for you to get defensive because you love your little sister, obviously, and you don't want to say, she ruined everything.
Right.
But that's how you felt when you were a little girl.
When I was a kid, yes.
Because who is this person that just came out of nowhere and took my mommy away from me? You were the reason my mom pulled away from me. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that experience with seeing your mom pull away from you and what made you an impact during that time, right? Because essentially it wasn't about you anymore. And the only way you could get your mom's attention is if you hyper focused on her and not focused on you, because you were quickly learning that you no longer mattered. Because again, your mother just had a new baby, and on top of that, she's living by her trauma in the presence of the woman who essentially created the trauma. And you're witnessing her protection tactic all at the same time, and her protection tactic is promiscuity. I often think we are the repeating person of our parents. So whether you know it or not, maybe your mom was also sexually assaulted as well. Maybe she also was in an abusive relationship. And the only way we could break the pattern, which I feel like you're called to do because you're in a season of separation, you're also in your season of isolation. Where's little Rose? So tell me about being 8, witnessing the transformation in your mom, and also building a relationship with your little sister. What was that like? What was the household like? What sceneries, what visions come to you? Where do you feel this in your body?
So,
take your time.
Yeah.
Do you feel a little blocked in your throat? Yeah, it's okay. It'll happen when stories stay in your head because you've never been able to talk. So take your time, and if you gotta bawl, girl, you're gonna have to bawl, you know. But at some point or another, that image in your head has to be spoken out through your throat.
So, okay, so around the time when my sister was born, it was like I was already used to chaos in the household, but when she came around, it was more because of who her father was. It was a lot of drama behind that. And when Reagan was born, it wasn't just my mom's attention going to her, it was everybody's attention going to her. And it was like I was expected to know what to do, how to be an 8-year-old, how to be an 8-year-old with a new sister. I'm hitting puberty. Like, it was just crazy. My mom would she was always really defensive behind my sister. Like, when I felt like, when I wasn't doing something right, I would get yelled at, or she would come to her aid so fast, like, girl, you're not doing that right. I was always attacked in a way. I mean, I was a kid, so anything too harsh was attacking in my mind, because I'm
you're defending them, not you.
Yeah, ate it. Okay.
It's harsh.
So
honor that.
Okay. But yeah, so it would come off they would pretty much attack me if I wasn't doing something right. And I didn't get to transition out of my childhood as smoothly as I felt like I should have. One super big, I know it's going to be crazy, but this significant thing, I had a closet underneath our stairs where it had all my dolls and all my toys. Okay. And
a little Harry Potter closet.
Yeah, literally just like that.
Yeah.
And it had my Bratz. It was a pink, those little clear plastic drawers that you can get from Walmart.
Yeah.
Mine was hot pink and they had little sparkles on them.
Okay.
I was a Bratz girl. I had a Bratz TV. I had the house, the mansion. One day I came home from school and she threw it all away. And I cried so bad. I didn't get the chance to get out of that phase myself.
Let's pause. Why did you say it's minuscule?
Because it's dolls. I know it sounds crazy.
Why does it sound crazy? Is that you saying that? No, because you're crying about it. Yeah. That was a very big deal. Somebody took you.
Right.
And you weren't ready to be taken. You don't shut that down. That hurt. That hurt a lot. You haven't even allowed the tears from that pain, that time period, to come forth.
Damn, you're eating me up.
It's okay. I can relate. I have a similar story. When I was in high school, I had a room, and I took so much time to take pictures out of magazines, and I had them all over my wall. And I remember my adoptive mom had people over the house that day. And for whatever reason, I was the demon that day. Whatever. Another day, another villain story. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I was abused, physically abused. I don't believe children should be beat, especially with no clear reasoning. I didn't understand why I was getting beat by, especially someone who isn't my parents.
Right.
So my adoptive aunt at that time slapped me, yelled at me, told me to go upstairs and take everything off the wall. To someone else, or even a version of myself, would say, well, it was just magazine papers. No, that was my creativity. Mm-hmm. My inner child is the creative of everything that I make in life. That hurts.
Yeah.
I'm crying taking down these papers, taking down my creativity, being forced to look at this art that I made and having to tell the story that this is dumb, that I'm not worthy of this self-expression. That's what happened to you.
Yeah.
In your own way. And this is a safe space. I'm not your aunt. I'm not your mom. I'm not your grandma. I want to see Inner Rose.
Okay.
You know? So that story came up because you had to tell it.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell the story from the adult's point of view.
Okay. I gotta get used to that.
We all do.
This is new.
We all do. Meeting your inner child is such a huge topic of conversation until the time comes to meet your inner child.
Right. Okay. Ooh. I already can tell I'm gonna cry. You mind if I get a tissue?
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry a lot.
It's normal to cry. You probably haven't had the time to really revisit this.
I haven't. I thought I like...
You know what I also have experience with adults and people who have personally experienced life with me? I get frequently told, well, that didn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't always keep going to your childhood. You can't blame everything of who you are because of what you experienced. That's not true.
And some people at the job said that.
Because they heard it from someone else. We are all taught incorrectly.
Right. Absolutely.
Sometimes in order to move forward, you have to go back because your past is what made you now.
Mm-hmm.
How can you become different if you don't know any different?
Right.
How can you teach yourself different if your inner child is not also getting the knowledge that present you was getting?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's not get lost. I just want you to know, like, what you're feeling is right.
Okay.
There is no wrong in this conversation. So basically what I'm hearing is you honestly started to pick up behaviors that were negative or quote unquote bad because it gave you more attention, regardless if it was bad attention, because all you wanted was what? Attention.
Right. And I would like, girl, I used to try to do so much stuff. Like, I mean, my grandmother, I would get like some attention. Like, I noticed that with my family is if I was doing something for them, that's where I would get the attention. So like, I would always try to be a little helper around the house. At a young age, I knew how to scramble eggs. So like, I would even try to make breakfast. I would literally climb on the counter to get all the dishes and stuff. I would just try to help because I knew like, they would see me as doing a good thing, like I was, doing the right thing. So I would always try to help, which is probably why I'm breaking out of it. But I noticed that I do have really bad people pleasing tendencies.
I was gonna say you were seen because you were assisting them.
Yeah.
Not because you came home with an A.
Right.
Or because you painted a beautiful picture, or because you were able to do your first cartwheel. You learned that greatness came from them.
Yeah.
And me doing something for them is the only way I can be great.
Right. And so that kind of stopped me a lot in the recent years. Like, I've noticed it about myself. I'm like, girl, you gotta... even now, like, with me, I told you I was trying to develop my artist. I'm so scared at how people look at me because that's all I ever cared about was how people look at me because of them. Like, ugh. So I'm trying my best to like become the person who does not care. Like, your opinion does not matter.
You crying makes me feel like how they see you isn't good. Explain that to me. When you say you're trying to build your artist, but you're scared of being seen, what did Little Rose experience from tapping into this artist and essentially being told, nah, this is no good?
I just felt like I was shut down. Like, I can remember all the exact moments where I wanted to express that I wanted to be this person, and I remember everyone's reaction. But like, it'll always be so weird because when I wanted to be serious about it, and like I told my mom I wanted to sing. She told me it's unrealistic. It's too many people trying to sing. Like, how? It's too many people. Like, it's oversaturated. You can't do it. I told my dad. He's like, why do you even try to? He just kind of like, he didn't even say anything. He just, and then started talking about what he wanted to talk about. And it's like, I will only hear things from my aunt when I wasn't singing. So if I wasn't singing, like, even...
Is this the aunt that you live with?
Yes.
Okay.
So, for example, when I was a dancer, she said the meanest shit to me. I posted this in my close friends not too long ago, and Nia responded to it. She was like, you're comfortable showing your body on stage, but you can't get up there and sing. If I wasn't doing anything that wasn't singing, she would pick at it, but she didn't do anything to like help me get there. Or like, even in school, me and my mom would argue about me not wanting to do what's the little military thing that they have in high school?
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, RZP. Yes, it's ROCT.
Yes, yes. I remember ROTC.
Yes, thank you.
And
she would get every year. She's just like, you're not gonna. She's like, I wanted to do chorus. Like, I'm a singer. I wanted to hear the harmonies and learn different things about music and sing the Christmas carols in French and German. Like, that's what I liked, but it was a problem. Like, she's like, why don't you do ROTC? Like, you that's a career. I was only doing, when I did stuff they wanted to do, it was great. But when I wanted to sing and like try to do something that I wanted to do, it was a problem. And it created a lot of stage fright for me. So the few moments where they did tell me like, get up there and sing, because I was singing at home. Like, they all know I can actually really sing, but I was too scared to. They would ridicule me for that. They're like, why didn't you just get up there and sing? Like they would get mad at me no matter what I did. So it kind of just made me just be in a shell. And every time I was put on a platform, or if I wasn't in a chorus, like surrounded by people, I was too scared to do it. Like, just to be by myself, it was just really hard.
What does that feel like?
It feels like anxiety. Like, it's like a vibration in my chest.
Is there a way that you can connect with that person that makes you feel so tight?
Oh, that was a good question. I don't know. I've never really tried to.
Because I'm a firm believer that there are 3 versions of us in our lives. You have your past, which is your inner child. You have your present, and you have your future self, which is trying to give you notes and directions on which path to take, because they essentially have already lived it. I believe in multi-dimensions and etc. And so to be able to confront this constricting feeling in your chest and the anxiety that you feel when you're on stage given the opportunity, or just anything that allows you to connect with this artist. Connecting with the artist is connecting with the inner child, right? So you said that there's been plenty of stories that happened that led you astray from being an artist. Maybe now is the time to share one. And not all the healing is going to happen today, not right now, But the path to begin is by telling one story at a time, whether that be with me on a podcast, whether that be in journaling, whether it be calling up a friend that you feel safe with. So I'm opening up the floor to you to be able to tell one of those stories that put you in a cell.
It's so many. I'm trying to think of one.
Whichever one comes up first is probably the one that needs to be heard.
Right. So I'm like, I'm trying to let my brain just like be like, that one's it. It's really hard because I think my mind kind of shut out like the full stories. I would just remember like the big details, like facial expressions or energy. I can say the very first time that I was singing in my choir, I was really excited. I told my mom about it. I think this is when it was some song. It was some German song. Can't remember it exactly, but we worked on it very hard, like very hard. And I was so excited. And I wanted my mom to come, and I was talking to her about it all week. I was like, please come, please come. She was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be there. It's after when I get off work, I should be able to come. Come that night. Again, I'm excited. I'm in the front row. I've always been a tiny Tim. I'm a little taller now, but I was really, really tiny in school.
Tiny Tim is cute.
So I was right in the front, like right there in the middle alto section, like with the girls. Cool. I'm kind of like trying to look through the lights because I don't know if you've been on like a school stage.
No, it's blinding.
Just like yeah. So I'm like, we're doing our oohs and ahs. I'm looking for my mom, looking for my grandma. I don't see anyone. Cool. We get through like our second song, no one still, and we had 5 songs that we were doing for the little performance.
All in German. Impressive.
By the time we got to our little 5th song, it was still no one there, and I was like so defeated. I didn't even want to be on the stage anymore. Like I felt like I wasn't worth coming to see, and this was when my sister was already around too. So I was like, maybe it was something for Reagan. Like I just didn't know what to think. I'm like, the whole point is like they didn't show up for me, and it made me feel like this is not worth doing. Like what's the point? Like y'all can't even. Like it's not even just me. It's a whole choir of kids that y'all could have came and supported if y'all didn't even want to come for me. I just wanted y'all to be there. So cool. It ended. We had little snacks after. Everybody and they moms came and got them. And I was there for like maybe another 30, 45 minutes after talking with everyone else. And then they came. There was my sister. She got her uniform on. She's like eating something. I can't remember what she was eating, but it was on her face. And I just looked at her and I looked at them. And they were like, yeah, we had to go pick Reagan up. She had some after school program. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know my sister had like something to do after school too. She didn't mention, I didn't know at all. So it was just really defeating. And I feel like that was one of the major moments that kept me from trying to keep trying. I'm like, y'all don't even show up. Like, what's the point of me doing this?
What grade was this?
I think I was like in second grade, second or third.
Wow. So you learned early on that there's no support for me. The only way I know how to get attention from this family is when I'm of service to y'all.
Yeah.
So you became of service. Even when you began dancing, you're of service to someone else.
Yeah.
So you're growing up, you're watching men come in and out of the house, in and out of the house. And you became promiscuous yourself. And is that something you got in trouble for? Your own promiscuity? Or was that...
What's crazy is no.
You were allowed to be promiscuous?
Yeah, like
Were you allowed to bring boys in and out of the house too?
Yeah.
So, being with men, did that quickly become a vice for you?
It did. I didn't
Tell
like
me
them.
about that.
Yeah, I didn't like them coming to the house because the whole point for me of them being there was to get me out the house. So I was like, if you don't have a car, I can't talk to you because I don't want to be home.
So car, were you talking to older guys?
I was talking to, not like 30s, maybe like 20, like when I was like 19, 20, they were like 23, 24.
Okay.
Very small age gap because my mom's young. I didn't want to date too old. It was weird for me. But they definitely did have to have a car. And even in like high school, we lived in Atlanta for when I was in high school, and my high school sweetheart lived right across the street from us. Like, I look out my bedroom window, I see his house. He was always over, and I was actually pregnant at 15.
By him?
Mm-hmm. She made me get an abortion.
She made you get an abortion. Let's pause. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that story.
Ooh, Mary.
There's just so much that you've been through.
Yes.
And like I said, it's going to take time. But you have mastered the storytelling and detaching yourself from the story, which is just a signal of trauma. Ain't no way you should be able to just, girl, I was pregnant at 15. My mama gave me an abortion and on to the next story. Girl, what? Let's pause for a second. Like,
it's because, like, I've kind of, with that story, it still does, like, I wouldn't say it bothers me as much as it did before. I did, like, my own little version of healing about it, because that situation, I did have to go in and look at every timeline and every point of view that could have and had came out of that situation. So I've kind of conquered those emotions a little bit. But
you're doing it again.
Right.
Well, let's visit. Let's visit 15-year-old Rose. You're in love. You're in an apartment or a house, whichever.
Yes.
You got the love of your life. You finna spend your life with him,
girl.
And
I still text him. To check in on him.
So that's a deep connection. Yeah. So tell me about that. Tell me about what I'm pregnant. Like, what's
right? Okay, so yeah, he was pretty much like the first boy that I've had sex with. But he was different. Like, I could tell when boys were lusting over me. At a young age, I could just tell. I hit puberty young, too. I was, like, 9 with boobs.
Thick.
Like, at 9, girl. Like, it was crazy. So, I'm always used to, like, that. But he was the first one who was, like, we would sit outside of my house and just talk for hours. Like, we would get out of school. He would walk home. I would catch the bus. So, I would wait for him. And he'll ask me to help him with his homework. Like, it was just a really cute situation. And I could tell that he actually liked me because he would talk. Like, he would act, like, it was different. When I found out I was pregnant, girl, my mama had a bonus from her job, and the whole week we was eating out. Like, we was at Red Lobsters, we had pizza. Like, she did no cooking. And my mom was a chef. Like, she cooked at home. So that whole week we were eating out. And I think the day that I threw up, it was the leftover Domino's, and I didn't warm it up. But I was always like that.
Leftover pizza in the morning is you don't gotta warm up pizza.
Like, I'm gonna just eat it. Girl, I ate it and I threw up. I was like, it's weird. Okay. So I'm like, I still feel normal. Like, I'm good. My mom comes home. She's like asking me how my day was. And I mentioned it. I was like, I ate some pizza and I threw up. I was like, and she looked at me funny. I still didn't think nothing of it. She
been there. She was the one that had you at 16.
Mm-hmm. She looked at me because I'm not a sick kid. Like, I was never stomach sickness, cough, like nothing. I was always like a healthy girl. So she's like, you threw up. She's like, do you still feel funny now? I'm like, no, I just didn't eat after. She said, when was the last time you had your period? And you know in the scary movies when like the tunnel, like the hallway kind of goes stretch out? I swear that's how it went for me. It was like, and I felt my chest drop to my stomach. I was like, it's been like, I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling the nervousness now. I'm like, it's been like, I was like, it still hasn't come, but like I'm having symptoms, like, cause I was having symptoms like my boobs are sore. I was cramping. I'm like, it's coming. She started yelling. She was like, God damn it, my 15-year-old's pregnant. Da, 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 da. She was like, I'm about to go get you a pregnancy test. Like, she was going off. And I was just like nervous. I'm like trying to do the math. I'm like, no, my cycle is coming. Like, November's not over yet. Like, the month's not done. I still have time to get my period. Like, you're crazy. Like, you're mad. She left. I was trying to call. His name is Marco. I was trying to call Marco. He wasn't answering. I'm texting him. I'm like, where are you? Like, like, I might be pregnant. My mom's going to get me a test. He didn't respond yet. She came back and she had me pee on both those sticks, girl. And both of them came out positive. I was sobbing. Like, I turned into a red strawberry, like, crying. I'm like...
And as you're crying at the news of you being 15 and pregnant, your mom was losing her head.
Yeah. It was like no happy. Like, I couldn't even decide if I was happy about it or not. I was like more upset that I disappointed her. Like, I was upset that I had her feeling like in this situation. I wasn't even more concerned about myself. I'm just like,
so there goes another situation where you learn that you're not important. Mm-hmm. However she feels is better.
And boom, she left. She was like, I'm finna go get me a fucking drink. She left. And
she left you alone at the moment you found that you were pregnant. Okay.
And I was in my room. I actually went downstairs because something just told me that Marco was about to come. And he did. He texted me. It was like, I'm walking up the street now. My phone was dead. Because all his friends were our neighbors too. So he was walking up with some of his friends, and I seen him through our the screen. I ran to him. Like, I ran. I was like, I'm pregnant. Like, I didn't care who was around. I didn't care about his friends or nothing. I'm like, bruh, I'm pregnant. Like, my mom's pissed off. What are we gonna do? Like, what is going on? And he was like so calm. He was like, okay. And we went in the house. I wasn't that sad anymore. I wasn't really crying because his reaction, like him being calm, like calmed me down a lot. Because I was just thinking about how my mom threw a fit. Like, you would have thought a hurricane hit the house. She was so mad. He did ask like how much was an abortion, and that kind of made me feel like, okay, he doesn't want.
So basically, nobody around you.
Yeah, it made me feel like the baby was wanted, and I didn't know what to think. I was so wired to thinking what my mom felt, so I didn't really take time to see how I felt. That wasn't normal for me.
Well, at 15, you've mastered not feeling yourself.
Mm-hmm. So it was like blocked out of what do I feel? What do I want to feel? I did have one friend from Houston that I told, and she gave me the advice to write down the pros and cons of having the baby, which was probably the 1% of me looking out for myself. Come to find out, Marco did want it. But by the time I knew that, my mom had already made me go get the abortion. And her logic behind it was that wasn't going to be my baby, it was going to be her baby. Like, she was going to have to take care of the baby, and we're not ready for a baby in the house. We didn't even have furniture in the living room. Like, it was just a lot.
Do you regret that decision? How, thinking back now, how could you tend to that version of yourself that had to live through that experience? I mean, getting an abortion alone
is a lot.
Yeah. So how do you heal that? How do you visit that? How do you
So all the times that I would think about it, I just had to really like be vulnerable and also real with myself. I didn't want to hear it from other people. Like, I don't want to hear that from you. I had to really just sit with myself and just think. It took a few years for me to actually do it. Like, after it, I did ignore it. I was just like, okay, whatever.
Was it painful once you realized, like, wow, I
lost
my child?
Mm-hmm. Because I felt like I didn't even have a chance. Because even in the clinic, when the nurse asked me if this was something that I wanted to do, like, they made sure that was my decision, and I signed that paperwork. When she walked off, she was like, you didn't really have a choice. My mom said that to me.
Right.
So when I got a little older and I had to think about it, I'm like, was I really prepared to have a kid? Like, the life that I lived.
You saying that is not you thinking that. That's your mom telling you didn't have a choice.
No, I thought about both ways. I thought about both ways if I was to have a kid. I'm like, I'm sure a lot of things would have moved different for me because my mom wasn't the type of parent to choose her children first, and she chose her own fleshly needs before us. I always knew that I was going to be the type of parent, like, nothing else mattered but my kid and their wants and their needs. And with that being said, I'm like, I'm 15. I didn't even have my first job yet. I don't know. I didn't have anything ready to have a kid. regardless of what my mom was saying, like, for me, what I was able to provide and try to make it different from how I grew up, was I going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
And when I figured out, nah.
But at that moment in time, before you even got that abortion, you didn't even have enough time to think about none of that. Yeah.
It was just that pros and cons list. That was the only thing.
You made one before you got an abortion.
Yeah. Like, while my mom was still gone, because she left for some hours, like, gone.
So, literally, you got an abortion that week?
Yep. And I didn't even...
And how was the aftercare with that? How was the environment in your house after that? Was it constant emotional abuse with her? Was there shame?
It was shame.
It was a lot of shaming?
A lot of it, especially because she told my whole family.
So essentially she allowed you to date and be promiscuous with men, but...
Don't come home pregnant. Don't bring no kids in my house.
So the result of what you're allowing isn't allowed, but you allow me to...
Right. And because my whole family knew, that just made me feel worse.
Never got you on birth control either? How contradicting is that?
Right. Like, nothing. It was just abortion. Okay, cool. She mentioned it. She was like, we're going to have to get you on birth control. We never did.
And you were allowed to still see Marco. So, where does the end with Marco happen and the beginning of multiple men? Was it multiple men, or did you start stripping? Because I'm trying to build up the story to this toxic relationship you were in.
Okay, so Marco ended when I was 17. I found
Dated at 15. The relationship ended at 17, so he stayed with you after the abortion.
Yes.
You're still having sex consistently.
No, I was scared. I was terrified. Like, because when we did do it, I would immediately push him. Like, I was traumatized. Like, okay. So I didn't really, like...
And Marco was the first person you ever had sex with. You never experienced sexual assault or rape or anything when you were younger?
As a kid, yeah.
You did? Okay. I'm sorry. I was like, what? Okay. Sorry for being so blunt, but I felt that something was hiding. Yes. And so I hope you don't take offense for me asking. No. So let's visit her.
Okay.
Let's visit her. Let's visit that Rose. How old was Rose when she experienced this awful predator?
I think I was like 6.
Okay. Do you mind telling me? We don't have to get super into it if you don't want to.
I don't mind.
So you're 6. Who is this predator? Where are you? When did these attacks happen, and how long did this happen?
So you remember how I said that my whole household was promiscuous?
Yes.
So this was with one of my aunt's girlfriend's nieces. They put us in...
It was a woman?
Yes. They put us in a bathtub together. Like, this girl was like 15, like maybe between 12 and 15. She was older than me, way big. I remember us sitting in the tub. She took up most of the tub space.
Okay.
They put us in the tub for us to bathe together.
Okay.
Don't know why.
Okay.
But she touched me in the tub, and
okay.
I just didn't say anything about it. I don't know why. I was just like, I just ignored it. I don't know why, little me.
And it was only one.
It was her.
It was only one time.
It was only one time. They brought me around her a lot, and I just never liked it.
How was she towards you after that?
She never treated me no type of way. She, they honestly became friends of the family. And I still remember, never brought it up to her. I still played cool. It's just a good hi and a goodbye.
How did you feel when she was touching you? Did you know that it was wrong?
I didn't know. Like, because the way she went about it, she kind of explained it like she was teaching me something. And
explain,
it wasn't,
if you can.
Yeah, like, she was basically just asking me questions, like, if I knew what that was, and, like...
Your vagina?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if she... Because I don't feel anything up here.
Mm-mm.
She touched you down here.
Yeah. So, that was, like, the first time that I remember.
Isn't it crazy how you can be, it's like you can be raped and still come, even though you're being raped? That's what she did to you. Yeah. And at 6 years old, you were robbed of your innocence sexually and weren't safe to tell your story. Right. You weren't safe enough to tell your story because you're learning. You were already opened up before that promiscuity, sex is cool.
Yeah. Because that's all my household was like full of. Like, that's what.
Okay. All of did you see these women like kissing other people in front of you and cuddling, and so it was a very physical household.
Yes.
So even though you felt wrong, you're trying to teach your brain that
like that's probably the right thing to do. Like I was trying to figure it out. Even so much so like I ended up finding the Playboy
magazine.
Not the magazine, but my grandmother paid for the full package of cable. And if you scroll down like all the way to like to the thousands, Playboy was there. And I would watch it to try to like figure it out, like understand what it was.
So you were exposed to porn.
Yeah.
And you were watching porn.
Yeah.
As early as 6.
Like like a kid. So cool. The second time, another mom's boyfriend. She was with
another
this
time you were. Okay.
I was like, I had to be like 11, 12 during this time. I never liked this man. His name, I'm not going to say his name. I never liked him. From the moment I remember coming home, my mom used to always send me to Oakland for the summer to visit my dad, and I would come back. I came back, not only did my sister like mess up my grandpa bought me like this really expensive art set. It had like the oil pastels, watercolor pencils, destroyed it.
He did.
She did, my sister. Not only was I just like, y'all already got rid of my dolls, like, now I can't even have my art set that I never got to use. They never replaced it. I was already irritated. Then my mom introduces me to this man from jump. I didn't like him. And I was never that kind of kid, like, to not like someone off rip. I just never liked him. They ended up staying together for 5 years. In those 5 years, they had a house, and his son came to visit, and his son was 18. His son was really, 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 really nice to me, like. But I thought that was, I didn't have a real father figure in my life. Like, none of my mom's boyfriends tried to play dad for me. My dad didn't even play dad for me. So I'm just thinking that's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's cool. So one day they went off grocery shopping, my mom's boyfriend, her, and my sister. And I don't even know how we got to the point. Oh, there it goes. I remember. He basically started calling me pretty.
18-year-old.
And I was 12. And he was like kissing on me and all that stuff. And again, I'm thinking this is what you're supposed to do. Like, I was just like letting it happen. And this was a form of attention for me too, because my mom was busy with her boyfriend and Reagan. Like, I always felt like I was like on the outside of whatever they had going on. So he's kissing me, and he tries to put his in me, like, hard. Like, I remember I kept telling him, like, stop, it hurts, like, and when he tries to do it like the third or fourth time, we heard the car pull up, and he hurried up, put his pants on, and he like rushed out the room, and he was like, you gotta get out. So I left, and I was like bleeding a little bit because I'm 12 and he's like at this point you're an adult. 18 is an adult. It was big compared to me. Like, he was really trying to force it in there and he couldn't. So cool. My mom comes in, they ask us to help with the groceries, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I'm quiet because I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
this man just raped you.
Yeah, or at least he tried to.
You were bleeding.
Yeah.
Success.
Like, it was crazy.
That just made you uncomfortable because your eyes looked away.
Yeah.
You haven't even been honest with yourself about that. He didn't have full, like whatever, it didn't get to the end, but a 18-year-old grown man knowing that he should not be with a 12-year-old. I mean, obviously he knows he shouldn't be with you. He told you to leave immediately because he's heard that he was about to get into trouble.
Yeah.
Ooh, hold on, my skirt. It's okay. So 2 times.
Yes, and he was so mean to me after. He was mean as fuck. Like, he started bullying me in my own house after that. And
after he just tried to, just raped you.
Because I guess he got what he wanted, or he couldn't do exactly everything that he wanted to do, and he was being mean as fuck. Like he would mush me, like just mean. I felt uncomfortable.
So how did
in my
that
own house.
Rose feel in that moment? Did you feel shame? Did you feel disgust?
Yes, I felt shame. I felt used, cause I'm like, and I felt disposable, and I didn't like it. At the time, of course, I couldn't articulate what it was.
Right. Yeah.
But I felt like I meant nothing. Like you could just do what you want, and when you got what you needed,
You felt
could just,
powerless.
Yeah. And
there's the theme in your life too that's happening with I have no power.
Like constant all the time. And I'm trying to work through it now that I'm an adult. Like
let's stay with her.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
stay with her. So we have 6 years old.
12.
And then we have 12 years old. Was the next time with consent with Marco that you consented for sex?
Yes.
And essentially you were already prepped and ready for Marco because of these experiences that you've endured at the house that you're coming up in, the porno that you've been obviously shown that you're finding yourself. So you see how it was inevitable for you to get pregnant.
Yeah.
We are all products of our environment. And essentially that was your environment. Right? So now we're 17. We've been having a great time with Marco. Marco comes to an end. Why?
We were moving. My mom couldn't keep up with the house anymore, and we were moving back to Houston.
She couldn't
afford.
You were living with just your mom, because it seems like there's periods where you're living with your mom, your aunt, and your grandmother. At this point in time when you're living across the street from Marco, is it just you, your mom, and
my
Reagan?
Sister, yes.
And was your mom dating anyone at that point in time?
She had dated, there was only 2 guys in that time period that we lived in.
When you say only 2 guys, is that less than what you're used to?
Yeah.
So at that point in time, this was kind of like a calmer time.
Yeah.
Because there's less men around.
Yes.
And less people overall, because you don't also see the ins and outs of
my aunt and my grandmother. And I also felt like my mom found a little peace because she was away from my grandmother. She's still having problems with that.
So you're kind of getting a little bit of security, stability,
yes,
just
I
a little
had my
bit.
own room, like it was legit. I had furniture in my room. Like we all had our space. My mom, my sister, she had her own room. She decorated it how she wanted. It was like our sanctuary.
Okay, and then poof. Yes. The rug is swept from under your feet.
So this is where she lost her job, and this is around the time where I mentioned earlier she was back and forth in the hospital a lot. This is also that time period, which kind of pushed us to get to Houston. If I'm not mistaken, because my mom was struggling with the job for so long, she had already sent Reagan to Houston to live with my grandmother and them. So she already spent like half of a semester of school with them before we even came. So Reagan was already gone.
And your mom you're a clutch. Your mom's in distress.
She's in the hospital. She's like mentally
and you're your mom's caretaker.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
While you're 17.
Yeah, and I ended up finding out that.
And Marco is your relief.
He was, yes.
At that point in time. So your mom's going through chaos. You're there for your mom. You're home. You don't like what you're experiencing. You run to Marco. You have sexual relief as your vice. Okay, so that's a cycle.
Yeah.
That breaks. Why?
He got someone else pregnant.
Marco got someone else pregnant.
Yeah.
So Marco was
dabbling with others as he was dabbling with me, and that broke my heart. I was like, wow. And they were actually
2 years
having
into
their
the
baby.
relationship.
Yeah. And I said, okay, I'm cool.
You're definitely disconnected to that version of you.
I was like, I'm cool. Like,
does it hurt you to know that you still feel pain from that? Because I can see it on your face, but you're trying to act like you don't.
I mean, this is something me and him have discussed a lot. Like, we talk about it all the time.
Does he feel like, oh, you were the one that got away?
Yes.
So let yourself be the one to get away, Rose.
Exactly.
You know, only time can do this. But it is actually a blessing to be the one that got away. Where are you?
Living life.
In LA.
Right.
We actually work a really good job.
Yeah.
In LA Live with a person who has the means to take care of a business. We have great people that we work with. Mm-hmm. You're getting around, you're surviving, you're on your feet.
Right.
And he got a baby.
2. And he's paralyzed now.
Okay, so
deep.
Trust that deep. God works in mysterious ways. I just want to tell you that, because when you're ready, you're going to have to kind of revisit that version of yourself in a way that you will learn. Okay, so
boom, 17, pregnant. We moved back to Houston. When I first got there and I went to Hastings, I wasn't really talking to no guys at school. I didn't want to be there. Hated it. My mom actually embarrassed the mess out of me when we first got there, because this was my 5th high school at this point. Mm-hmm. I was over it. Mm-hmm. Over it. And because I wasn't being all nice and friendly with the girls who were showing us the school, she like mushed me in my face in front of them and was like, I can't even remember what she said, because when she mushed me in my face in front of them, I just looked at them and I zoned out, because I was like, wow.
Shame.
Like, yes. So I can't even remember exactly what she was saying, but it was something along the lines of like, why I'm not happy to be here. Like, cool. I ended up going out with someone that me and him had a crush on each other from elementary to middle school. I got back in contact with him. And we was on and off. We was on for like a year, some change. And I started dancing when we were together. He was insane though. Like when we were... You
started dancing when you were with him. Mm-hmm. So he was okay with you...
Yeah. He didn't have a problem, because we knew each other when we were really young, and he knew who I was. Like, that I didn't really start dancing for...
Let's take a pause on relationships. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about being a dancer. Okay. Working at strip clubs. How do you get involved with that? Is that something your mother used to do? How were you introduced to this? And how was it the first night on stage? And how did you... Tell me about this.
Okay, so it always caught my eye. Like,
stripping always has.
Yes. Like, I used to make jokes about it. I think it's the freedom behind it. Like, when I seen those girls or women who used to dance, they just had this tallness about them to me. Like, they just seemed confident. Like, they didn't care. Like, who had what to say about them. They got their own bread. They could pay their own bills. They could do what they want to do. They had their time. It just seemed like a version of glamour to me. And it always just caught my eye. Like, I used to make jokes about it at home. Like, I used to, like, call myself thunder. Like, I used to jiggle my thighs. And, like, I'm going to be a stripper one day. Like, watch me tell you I'm going to be a dancer. Like, and the first time I did it, I told my mom. I was like, I want to go. It was this place called V Live in Houston. If you know.
Just left V Live.
Yeah.
Atlanta could never die. Yeah. Still alive. Yeah.
So they were right down the street from us, and V Live used to have events for the high schoolers sometimes. So I've already been inside the club. I've already been in there. It was like 18 plus, 19 plus, not high schoolers. So like 18-year-olds could go in and like have fun. So I've already been there a few times, showed out, and I had went to this one other strip club called like Paradise, and it was for a friend's birthday, and the owner bought us hookah and champagne because I was like over there having fun dancing, and he asked me if I wanted to start dancing. At the time, I was like, no. I was nervous. I was like, nah, I've never did that before, but thank you for the bottles and stuff. I appreciate it. Cool. Told my mom I'm going to V Live. She told me be safe, da-da-da. And we told each other that we wasn't going to tell nobody. I literally have pictures from my first night, too. I was nervous, but I was excited. I was like, okay, I wonder how this is going to go for me. I didn't go on stage. I was a floor princess. I just hopped around the sections. I made like $200, $300 my first night, but someone who knew my family took a picture of me. and sent it to my aunt and my grandmother, and they got on my mom's ass. So for a few months, I never tried it again. I was like, okay, like, cause they all got on me about it. They was like, you a stripper, da da da, like you did it. And again, the same thing from before. My aunt getting on me about singing. She brought that up too. She's like, you can't sing, but you can go shake your ass and strip and da da. So I didn't do it for a few months. And plus, I was so nervous. Like, I was like, do I like this? Like, I wasn't used to, like, having control over my body in that way and, like, dancing for someone. Like, so it was weird for me. But something kept ringing in my mind about it. I was like, I think I should try it again. Like, it just kept coming back in my head. Like, even if I try to ignore it, I was like, girl, you were so nervous. You couldn't even do it right. Why do you want to keep going back? I was like, just go back. Try it again. So I kept going and I kept trying it, and I ended up getting friends at the club, and the DJ ended up knowing who I was, and I started getting comfortable, and that's how it started. I can say during COVID I dropped off of it a little long again because the clubs closed down and it just completely died. Like, the money was not the same during and after COVID. But once COVID started coming to, that same club where that man asked me to come dance, never knew the name, right? It was a crazy full circle moment. I met this girl at V Live. She told me her home club, and I went and tried it, and that ended up being the club. And I remembered that club for years. Never knew the name. So I ended up dancing there and making a lot of money, and then I got fired from there. And I just like, let me just get a job. The same night that I decided to stop dancing and I was going to start my new job, like 2 days later, was the night that I met my abusive ex. So some friends asked me to come to this after hours.
So you were like in relationships while you're dancing?
Yeah, I was like dating, and I didn't. Once me and the last one stopped, I only dated one guy, and his name was Jordan. He had hella kids, girl. I don't know why I was even attracted to that, but he was showing me a different kind of like attention, like different from attention that I was shown before. Like, he was on my body, and I wasn't used to that. Like, someone, I would try to block him. He knocking at the front door, like, let's go out to eat. Like, I wasn't used to it. But I was dating, but for the most part, I really enjoyed my peace because I also had moved out of my mom's place during this time, close to the end.
So they end up figuring out that you're dancing full time. They go through whatever they need to go through with it. Then this is just your reality.
Yeah.
Now you're at a place where you're living by yourself, you're dating, and then boom, you meet this man who you end up getting in a relationship with. What does that period of your life look like?
So that relationship moved really fast, but at the time that I was that me and him met, I was, you know how some people say, like, God can hear your prayers, but so can the devil. I've never had a situation hit me like that until this situation, because I remember I kept telling my friends and raving about how the next man I get, he's going to pay my bills, and he's going to have money, and he's going to take, like, just kept saying these things. I'm like, yeah, he's going to take care of my responsibilities, because I didn't want to work no more. I was tired. I was like,
You know why you was tired?
Oh, because I've been working all my life. Working. I was always doing something to please someone else. And even with my jobs, I've always done customer service or serving, bartender, cashier, like
dancing.
Gotta please the other person. So I was just fed up. Cool. That same night, it was like, and I don't know, I'm usually very smart and intuitive. Like, I can just know when someone's wrong or like they're just not right. But for some reason, my sensors were like completely off. Every word that I said to my friends, multiple times that I said I wanted in a man, he said to me, like, verbatim. It was like he was listening to my conversation. It was honestly scary, but I thought that was a sign. I'm like, oh, God, you listen. Like, this the person. Cool. We dated.
Oftentimes when we ask for men like that, it comes with a certain game.
Yeah. And I didn't know. I had no clue.
Okay, so tell us.
Girl. Okay, so we get together. We dated for a few months. And around this time, my lease was about to end. And he had just, his lease was ending too. But his lease ended before mine. And we was like, okay, like, let's move in together. cool. I know I moved so fast. So he came to where I was, because I still had a few months left in my apartment, and it was okay. It was cool. Like, I was happy to have him there, but he was just really nonchalant. Like, and it started bothering me. I'm like, it made me feel like my presence bothered him, and I used to say something about it. I'm like, why does it seem like I irritate you? Like, he wouldn't really have a reaction. Cool. At some point he paid rent for me because my rent was, I had a little studio. My rent was only like $815, but one month it came back like $1,200. I was like, why is my rent so much? He was like, I got you, I'll pay it, don't worry about it. Okay. He paid it. I said, okay, cool. Like, it was solidified. I was like, yeah. Right after he paid it, he ended up going to jail. He used to do that coyote stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The people who go to the border and bring Mexicans in and get paid for it. So he used to do that. I didn't know when we first dated, but that's what he ended up going to jail for. And while he was in jail, my rent came back. Like, it came back, and it was like $1,400 now. They added an extra like $250 on it. I'm like, you gotta get out of jail. My rent, like, what happened? So I bonded him out, and he didn't pay that. He didn't pay the rent, and I kept asking him about it. I was like, what's happening? Like, why are you not paying the rent? Da da da. And he's like, I'm gonna pay it. Like, he just kept giving me the loop-de-loop. I'm gonna pay it. He never paid it. He went to jail again. This time it took me like 3 months to even try to get him out. And now, during this small time period, I was working at Starbucks. And the second time I was bonding him out, I ended up getting hired at this restaurant called Katz's. It's a 24-hour Jewish deli, and I worked the night shift. So
Why did you get out of stripping?
I just felt like it wasn't doing no good for me. It started playing on my insecurity as well. At first, it gave me a lot of confidence because I was really insecure growing up.
So what's that 360 like? Being confident and then getting to a level of insecurity.
It was like a toxic relationship. Like, it was really the fact that I wasn't making money, and it would just be little things that I would notice. Like, I would get treated differently from the girls, and like the skinny girls would make all the bread, and I would just leave out with like only a few $100s. It would be like men who didn't want me in their section. I was like, damn, am I too big? Because I was a thick girl. Like, I got thick. I was like 235, like big. But I still had a figure on me, and I thought I looked cute. It just started messing with my mind. I'm like, okay, this is too much. Like, I don't feel like I'm wanted here.
So what you were gaining from it originally, you were losing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're at Starbucks and you're moving to a Jewish deli.
Right.
And now this man, one time doing what you were seeking, gave you enough of an addiction, of a rush, to keep going back, waiting for that next hit.
Yes. So, boom. He came out of jail, and that's when, the second time, and that's when things started really, really, really getting rocky. At first, he would just, like, shake me on my shoulders.
When y'all would fight?
Yes. And I'd just be like, move him. Like, I was just like, bro.
So that one time he paid rent, and it bounced back. He never paid rent again. And the realism of him started to come out. So now y'all are in arguments, and he's doing little red flags.
Yes.
So the first red flag is him shaking you.
My shoulders, yeah.
Okay.
And then from my shoulders, it went to my neck, but it was like a light grab. Like, it was like this.
Okay.
At some point, like, when I was trying to hide from him in the bathroom, he was like love tapping my face, like, and I'm like telling him stop hitting me. His mom on the phone too. This should have been another red flag. His mom was on the phone, didn't say nothing. Like, he hit me in my face. Cool, let it go. We ended up finding a new place, and our first day moved in. He actually choked me, like closed my esophagus. Like, I felt my throat touch itself, and he pushed me to the Wi-Fi box. I had like this nasty gash on my butt, like, and at that point, I was just numb. I was like, bruh.
When you're in a domestic relationship, it can feel like you're in this very deep hole. And when you're in the hole, you're looking up at yourself experiencing the abuse. So essentially now you've buried yourself. Your emotion is nowhere near the surface. Yeah. And now your body is just you're just in autopilot.
Yes, yes. I would say that. Like I wasn't present at all. I was just on an autopilot, like just zoned out.
So the abuse got worse.
Yes.
And did it get to a point where it was like every day? Where did you start to feel like genuine fear?
I never felt fear.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Did you ever witness any of these women you grew up with be in domestic relationships? Mm-mm. No.
So how my mom and the guy whose son that we did ended, he hit her and she left immediately. Like the very first time that he physically put his hands on her.
You witnessed it?
I was at school and my mom came to pick me up and she never picked me up, like ever. I would catch the bus home and I seen her face, and when we got home I seen the aftermath. Like every room in the house was messed up except for my sister's room. Like you could tell my mom was running. And after that she never dealt with him again. Like it was done. So that was the one time I seen domestic violence, but my mom left. Like she didn't deal with it. Before and after that, the only thing I would see was them argue amongst themselves. Like it would be like, it wasn't actual fighting. Like it would be a lot of pushing.
That is
okay.
Enough.
Okay.
Growing up quick, we're in a rush to leave. Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel like, I can't wait to get up out of here, I can't wait to be independent?
Yes.
And then we get the independence. You know that your subconscious runs your reality. Because we weren't taught what to do with our independence, yet alone who to be. Our subconscious creates our reality. So we find what we've seen. So regardless if your mother left or not, regardless if you only seen it one time, regardless if it was only mushing or pushing or the light shakes as we're putting it so it's not that big. It is a big deal.
Yeah. You
created it because you did not know what to do with your independence. You see what I'm saying? And you were an adult child, right? Yeah. And so, again, the disconnect, even with getting into dancing, dating this guy, dating that guy, oh no, I didn't see that. Well, all of that was exposed to you in your childhood. Essentially, what I'm trying to bring to your attention is your inner child creates your reality.
Yeah.
Especially when you come from trauma. Even if you don't come from trauma, you ever look at people like, why do they have everything? Well, they probably had a great example as to how they could get everything, And for people like you and I, we have to work a little bit harder. And the only way to paint a new reality is to visit what made us like this in the first place, And it was your inner child that felt comfort in the autopilot.
Yeah.
You had a break, no matter how toxic it was. All you were searching for is a break, right? Which is why you asked for a man who could pay your bills, because you want a break. But you got a different type of break.
Right.
You were so emotionally abused that you learned how to detach, and that was a break for you. So, what happens for you to realize this has to end?
I lost my job.
Are you at this deli?
We got into it a few hours before I had to go to work. I didn't have to go to work till 9 p.m. Like I worked the night shift. And I was just not in the mood. Like, and I already was having issues at work with my coworkers. And I kept asking them to leave me alone, da-da-da. And the girl kept picking. I ended up smacking her. And I still regret it. it's like on one end I regret it, but on the other end I'm like, girl, I gave her fair warning, like to please, like, please. And she didn't. She thought I was just someone to poke the bear, in which I'm still not saying it's right for me to have hit her, but it was definitely a transfer of energy because I've never done that before. Like, I've had issues with people at my job plenty. Never in my life lost the job for doing something like that. So,
But a lot was going on.
yeah, a lot was going on. So, like, I smacked her, lost my job, and that's where things kind of escalated in the abuse too. Because he actually had to pay for everything. Like, I was still paying for like Wi-Fi, the water bill, like little stuff. Once I lost my job, it got like 10 times worse.
Because he felt like he had full control over you, so he could do whatever to you.
And
so when you say 10 times worse, what does that look like if you're comfortable sharing?
So he would use everything that I told him about myself against me. He's like, you're just like your mom. I can see why, da-da-da. You're weird just like your friends. You're this and that. And, like, he's like, you're broke. You don't have no money. You can't pay no bills. What you gonna do? Like, it became physical and verbal abuse, and then it was like he would leave, like ignore me all day, tell me I'm finna go pick up some money and be gone for days, like, and wouldn't tell me anything. Like, I wouldn't have a missed call, a text message, and when he would come home, I'd be annoyed because I'm like, I don't care if you go out, just say something. You said you were going to go do this thing and come back, and you left, like, till tomorrow. Why do I not have the right to know? Like, especially if we're supposed to be in a relationship, I was just trying to get the concept, like, and every time he would come home and I would say something, no matter how I worded it, I tried a million ways to rephrase what I was saying, because I'm like, maybe I'm not saying it right, maybe I'm too aggressive. He would hit me, and then he would find his way on top of me after, and I'd be like so tired from us fighting that, like, I was just like the scene from Color Purple when Celie was just laying there with Mr. on her, same, like, I was just like, okay, bro. Okay. I was just so ready to go. And I was trying to, like, distract myself in social media, which is why I'm trying to take a break now, because that's where the dead scrolling began for me. I was trying to stay out of my surroundings when I was on social media. I think my cousin reached out to me, and she was like, you should come try dancing in LA. I think you'll really make money. I told her what was going on. She was like, come down here, make your money, go back home. That was the plan. I said, okay. I had some credit on Southwest to get the ticket because, again, I didn't have a job. So the credit bought my flight here, and the last time he hit me was in February, and I had a knot on my forehead. He made me, I had a concussion because I threw up blood after him doing that, and he dragged me across my apartment with my hair. Like, he used why I cut my hair. Like, the whole apartment saw me from him dragging me. He smashed my phone. I got a new phone because I kept breaking that one. I felt like it was because of that. Like, he wouldn't let me call the police. I had to call the police. He bust my lip, and I ended up having to wash my own sheets from that. And me just looking, I know everything else was like a lot, but, like, me looking at myself with the knot on my head and having to clean my own blood out of my sheets from him hitting me was just like, I am so ready to go. So when I caught my flight, he thought I was going to come back, and I ended up staying. I was going to go back to Houston, but I was going to go back with my own apartment. Like, the plan was for me to dance out here, make some bread, and pay my rent. Was he
originally like, come back, where are you? Like, he just let you go?
And, like, even after our last argument over the phone and stuff, oh no, it wasn't even over the phone. We went to Houston in, like, June for my cousin's birthday. He was supposed to give me my stuff. One moment it was in the storage, and the next moment it's not in the storage. He left it in somebody's grandma's garage. Like, he gave me the runaround, and again threatened me to come get me beat up, because that was also a thing. He was telling me he's gonna get one of his female friends to come beat me up at our house, all types of shit. Like, but since then he's never reached out. He says that, okay, I said sorry, but I'm just like, nigga, you damaged me. Like, I have not dated since then, so I'm like, you beat on me. Like, that is a different thing. Like, even at Mitchell's birthday party, one of his friends was like mad about him not having his keys. When I tried to walk through the door, he pushed me, and it was a small push, but he pushed me enough, and I started crying. I'm like, you really damaged me, and it's like I don't care for the apology, but it's the fact that you never offered a genuine one. Like, again, I feel disposed. Like, I feel like I was disposable. Like, you shook up my world in such a dramatic way, and you just move forward. And I gotta do all this fixing and all this healing. And, like, even that relationship was part of the reason why I stopped talking to my mom and my family, because they stayed down the street from me. And every time I tried to run to their house, like, and find sanctuary, somebody was starting an argument with me or pick at me, and I just needed space. And I felt really, really alone. Like, really alone. I knew in, like, other situations how they were, but I never would have thought that if I was getting beat on, they would still be absent. Like, I thought they would show up for me, and they didn't. And that really, really hurt me. And, like, my mom came to my house one time, and I had vented to her about the stuff that he would say to me while we were arguing. She had the nerve to start an argument with me in front of him and repeated everything that I told her he would say to me in front of him. And when I went in my room, she sat on that couch with that man and had a friendly conversation with him, like, and again, showing me that I didn't matter. Like, me and my emotions and my peace and what I'm going through didn't matter. Like, and she started an argument with me about me being a waitress. And I'm like, the argument really pissed me off, because me being a waitress helped her pay her bills too when she needed it. I was sending her whenever she needed $20 to get her and my sister some food, send her $50, because the waitress paid the bills. So I don't even know why she felt the need to pick on me about something like that in front of this man who's already beating on me. Like, I brought her there so he wouldn't touch me, because I knew he wasn't going to do it in front of her. So all of that really just was a lot of build up for me. And the fact that he's never reached out, and for a long time I would check his page and I would feel so angry. I would feel so much envy that he wasn't suffering, because I'm like, he just moved on. Like, you still going out with your friends to y'all same spot, you're still out drinking. Like, nothing that you did in these 2 years did anything to you. Like, you just moved on like I was nothing, and you changed a lot. But at the same time as me saying that he drastically hurt me, he also taught me, like, not even him, that situation taught me a lot about how I viewed myself. Because if I was someone who had boundaries and...
Hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna go into, I know better, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
The person that chose this, the person that allowed this to happen, the person that just came out a little bit and cried, was the 7-year-old who just had a sister come and learned then that she wasn't important. Was a 6-year-old who was touched and never had the safety to speak up. Was a 2-year-old that had to leave home from Oakland because it was never safe in the first place. There was never an ounce of security around you. There was never an ounce of chaos around you, right? Your inner child is looking for what it knows. And unfortunately, what it knows is pain. What you know is pain. And our adult versions of ourselves can know that. But like I said, like, you have to become your own parent. Imagine if you had that child when you were 16. Right. And you saying, oh, I know I would never do this, that, and the third to that child. You are that child. So why would you do it to yourself? It's easy for us to say, oh, I would never, I would be able to do better. If you haven't taken the steps to do that for yourself, the truth is hurtful, but it's going to happen, and you're 24 now.
25.
You're 25 now. That's 25 years of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
That's 25 years of a 2-year-old driving this avatar of your body. 6-year-old driving this avatar of your body. The 7-year-old driving this avatar of your body. I think you said 12-year-old driving the avatar of this body. The 15-year-old who had an abortion driving this avatar of your body, right? The 18-year-old who was exposed to dance culture, stripping, fast money. All of that is not necessarily what you want to do right now. But you see why it's so easy to lapse? There's not enough time, not enough space, and not enough new behaviors and beliefs and patterns to allow this new to transform, to be present. And so it's really important that when you come to a moment from your past and you see yourself looking at it from a lens of your family members, your peers, a lot of our Black culture saying that this stuff is made up, psychology isn't real, we're too soft, we need to tighten up. Trust that in your lineage, you came along to be the one to change. Maybe it's your time to finally feel the generational trauma, because maybe more happened to your mom than you realize. Because what I'm also hearing is there's a lot of forgotten pieces and parts within your childhood. And it's not normal for your mom to kiki kaka with your abuser.
Right.
So what happened to her? What did she listen? What did she witness with her grandma? What is she witnessing within her own life that she feels like this is a correct thing to do with you? And I'm not asking you to be sympathetic with her. If anything, you deserve to be bold-faced angry.
Right. And I have been. And
if
no
you never
shame.
be, as you should, if you never can rekindle a relationship with your mom, so be it.
Right.
I have to make the very tough decision every day to not talk to my mom.
Mm-hmm. And
my story doesn't necessarily look like yours, but it's a story. And the only way I heal is honoring my story.
And that's what I've been doing. Because I noticed the pattern with her and her mom. And I see the pattern that they try to do with me. And I'm just like, girl, no.
The babying, the lying, the manipulation to act as if it never happened, as if you don't see the things that you see.
Sleeping on a rug like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And it's harder to do this. It's harder to be honest and to choose to disconnect and to choose to heal. And it's a lifelong work. Mm-hmm. It's a lifelong. Sometimes I get frustrated, like, damn, it ain't over yet.
Right.
I remember this now. I'm back depressed.
Right.
Can I get a break? But it's funny how the hard work that I'm doing, the pain that I'm facing, has created the best version of me. You can see it on my skin. You can see it on my hair. You can see it in the people that I converse with, how I carry myself, the money that comes to me. Don't be disencouraged by the pain, because essentially you went through that.
Right.
If you were that strong enough to go through that, you're strong enough to heal from that. You are. But Little Rose has to cry.
I know I don't like crying. That's something else.
That's probably also something that you learn. Like, just us being Black people. Why are you crying? Toughen up. You gotta have tough skin. Like,
nothing to cry about. Right.
That bullshit.
Right.
Cry. When you don't allow yourself to feel, whether that be screaming, whether that be crying, whether that be singing, painting. Like, you mentioned a lot the part of you that love to express. That's also part of healing.
Yeah.
Your inner child found its little ways to express, and unfortunately it always got dissolved. But you're an adult now. Mommy's not around. Grandma's not around.
Right.
Auntie's not around. In fact, you have your aunt like, I'm waiting for Miss Beyonce. Now it's your opportunity, regardless if it's pushing you forward like your aunt is, or someone bringing you down. None of that matters. You get to choose your waking reality every single day. Like, I think it's really cool that you're taking the time to follow the artist way.
Yeah.
Your inner child picked up that.
Yes. Every time I do something different, like even going to the playground and doing a dance class, like
it's
that's
cool. Yeah.
I've been very much catering to her. That's why I haven't been talking to no one either. And like,
when you asked me at work about the boundaries of isolation, and before I was rudely interrupted by someone who thinks they know it all. Isolation is vital for serious transformation. And so, yeah, it can be uncomfortable, right? But when you to have those moments where you go back out, like you were just about to say, you were thinking about going dancing. Mm-hmm. And if you tittle and tattle, cool, because it's comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's familiar. It's what you know. Going out into the unknown is what's difficult. You can only do that through isolation because, again, your subconscious, your inner child is always creating your reality. I think it's a part of your brain, your amygdala, whatever it's called, it's the scientific terms. Mm-hmm. But when you shut down the familiar, you open up your frontal lobe, which is your conscious. That's what it is. Your amygdala is your subconscious. Mm-hmm. This is what always creates it. You know, they say your frontal lobe starts to get developed at 25. You just turned 25. Mm-hmm. So you're going to begin to see more clearly as you continue to develop, because in some cultures, they don't even think it's fully developed until 30.
Right.
Like indigenous people say it's not fully developed until 30. So these next 5 years of later on of your 20s, you're going to see difference. And that's going to call for isolation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to be still to get the answers from God. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to come from me. It's not going to come from a book. All of these things are stepping stones and guidance towards the direction that you seek. But you can only hear when there's silence.
Yeah.
You can only hear when there's absolute zero distraction. And you will know when you've had enough isolation and when it's time to seek again, because new places will come to you. I've known for 6 years now that I wanted to be a part of a yoga community and pay a membership and continuously be in classes. It took me 6 years to finally just join 2 weeks ago. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like something that you may feel now at 25 may happen at 30, mm-hmm. like it happened for me.
It's gonna come.
Yeah. Isolation helped me. Me relapsing and looking for familiar communities, familiar friendships, familiar habits and behaviors is what propelled me continuously to visit isolation until I could be confident enough in the unknown. Trusting, you know how I found my yoga membership? My new neighbor. Been here shorter time than me. Found a community. Ooh, I want that. I'm finally in a position. I can afford that. Let me go try it out. Boom. Now I'm here. It's new. I haven't made friends yet, but that's fine. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and it only came because I allowed myself to have a random conversation with a neighbor, with a stranger. Not from someone that I grew up with, not someone that is in the same path as me.
Right.
If I'm friends with a person who's also in a toxic relationship, also being abused, also being an addict, also dancing, also whatever, you can't get advice from them.
Right. I don't even have old friends. All of them.
And this is the beautiful part. Yeah. Is like the fact that you even have the strength to be like, I'm off this.
Yeah.
Applaud yourself, because how many people do that?
Right.
In your circle, you are the only one. Right? Essentially, why you and I are pulled to each other, because we can see like, wait, there's something different about her. You know, mm-hmm. let me touch on this. Let me figure that out. So I'm gonna wrap this up with saying, number one, thank you for being this vulnerable. It's so healing,
and it was well needed.
Girl, well needed. Yeah, it's so healing, not only for you, for me, and for whoever is listening to this, because sometimes it can be shocking just how vulnerable people can be. Like the fact that you can sit here and tell your story, and whether the 5 people listen to this or 50 from 50,000, someone's going to be moved by your authenticity. Did you know authenticity is the energy that travels the fastest out of any energy in this world?
That makes sense.
You know, yeah. So I want to say thank you. I also want to just hug you. I want to hug you and tell you that you are loved and you are so seen, and I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Mama.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. No one deserves that. But you're going to do something amazing.
I feel it too.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, you're going to do something so amazing.
Ooh.
Yep, espresso. Sorry.
Let it out, girl.
You're going to do something so amazing with your story. And I'm just excited to see what that is.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah, I'm really excited for your journey. And thank you to our listeners for taking the time out to just hear some real raw, some life events, life stories, and the healing that it takes to come out on the other end of everything that you've been through. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
The cry session.